Well, good afternoon or good morning, everybody. It's Matt West in Cary, North Carolina at PowerChalk's headquarters, and on behalf of the Amateur Softball Association, we want to welcome all of you to another session that we dedicate to helping you use the analysis tool at www.powerchalk.com. And today we have a very special guest, Katie Cochran, joining us, former Arizona State star, Team USA star. And Katie, are you on the line with us today?
Yes, I am.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I want to brag on you a little bit, Katie. When I read your bio, it made me feel like a ditch digger. For you, those of you out there, Katie was a four-time NFCA first-team All-American, four-time All-Pac-10 first-team, three-time Pac-10 Player of the Year, two-time USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year, top three finalist in 07 and 09. And a 2006 gold medalist at the World University Games in Taiwan. And in addition to that, as we saw, both our CEO of PowerChalk, Chaz Henry, and I, we also saw you win the 2010 World Championship. So, Katie, it's just such a delight to have you on the phone today. And I know that we've talked a little bit about motion analysis in our system, but maybe a good way for us to start, we have an outline of things we're going to cover. We're going to talk to our guests about how to register for their free account. We're going to talk about what the system does, but maybe give us a little bit of a first blush of any motion analysis that you've used and how important video is, maybe specifically for today for your hitting.
Yeah, when I was at ASU, we always used video analysis. It was great for us to see us beside other hitters and to really analyze, what we're doing compared to the most successful hitters in the game. So I really think it's very important for young hitters to understand what it is to have the right swing mechanics, how to get on plane with the pitch, and how to recognize pitches, and just how basically, the best hitters in the game do that. And I thought that really helped me understand what it means to hit correctly and then take that into a game.
Katie, I couldn't echo those sentiments enough. I know that dating myself back when I was a player with Atlanta and Seattle, if I would have had motion analysis at that time, I think that, albeit that I was told I had good mechanics, there had to be a reason why I ended up having 3 surgeries on my shoulder and probably more cortisone shots than I'd like to admit over the phone today. But what we have found through our relationship with the ASA is what Katie described is nothing new. Motion analysis has been around since 1951. The only difference is it's been really something that's been only attributable to a Division I college program like Katie played in, or potentially a professional situation that I was in, an Olympic sport, and really never has gotten down to the masses. And Katie, I echo your sentiments that anybody who has an interest in getting better, whether it's at the plate, on the mound, on defense, our system, which is completely web-based, can make a huge difference. Let's talk a little bit about what you have available to you before I enlist Katie to talk about some hitting mechanics. As a member of the ASA, you have a free account, plus you get 10 additional video storage slots. And again, the difference in being web-based simply being there's no footprint. You have no software that you have to install on any machine. Very easy to use. You have the single screen Telestrator. You have a 2-minute record time, and you have the ability to use our mobile apps that are both Apple friendly and Android friendly. And we'll come back and talk about those in a minute. Again, www.powerchalk.com/ASA all caps is how you get in to your account. Now let's go into what your locker entails and a little bit of the mechanics. And again, I don't want to take too much of Katie's precious time away from having her do what she needs to do. But it's not minimal, the difference between having a cloud storage or web-based product and a PC software product. And really what it does, as you see here on the screen, is it's the ability to connect all of your devices with really not having to ever have to connect the devices with a cord. You can upload through your iPhone or smartphone directly to there and then send the video into your locker, and you can share those videos remotely. And as we see today, Katie is joining us. Katie, you're just outside of Los Angeles, is that correct?
Yes.
And I know I spent my stomping grounds at Long Beach State University, so I know what it's all about to be out there in Southern California. And we're in Cary, so we're going to show you to some degree what is revolutionary about our product, which is the ability to do live screen sharing, or for you coaches out there, players, the ability for you to connect coach and player together live over the internet. So, Katie, maybe with that, let's just go ahead and jump right to it and go to what we call the ChalkTalk Telestrator. So when you sign in, and all of you folks sign in for your free account, and you simply just have to put in your email address and pick a password, you're going to be presented with your locker. And your locker would look a lot like this. I'm going to go and, just for fun, Katie, to get you off on the right foot, this is the first time Katie's been joining us, I'm going to load a public video that we just uploaded literally minutes before we started this. And Katie, if you see the top thumbnail, we're going to go ahead and put this in the Telestrator. I'm not going to analyze this because I don't think it needs any analysis, but it's going to show you how quickly this can go into the Telestrator, and you folks on the other side of this can be on the other side of the walkie-talkie. Do you remember this one, Katie?
Yes, I do.
So I'm going to drag the playhead. So if we come down here to the bottom, you folks at home are going to see the playhead where I'm drawing this arrow towards the A. And I can literally just click my mouse and drag the playhead. And we're going to catch Katie at one of her best moments. And I'm just going to go ahead. Katie, why don't you tell us about where this was, unless you hit so many that you don't remember. Remember where this home run was filmed?
Yes, it was at our home field. We were playing UCLA. The pitcher was Megan Langenfeld, and she was pitching a curveball inside to me. And, I mean, she was pretty well known for her screwball and her curveball. And I was kind of expecting that pitch, you know, because she had been getting me there all night. And I just knew I had to get my hands out, and that was kind of my approach. I knew I kind of had to really clear my hips if I wanted to keep that ball fair versus just fouling it. So I knew like I said, I had to meet it way out in front and put a good swing on it.
Well, you beat up on the old Bruins there, didn't you? And so, again, for you folks at home, just very quickly before I really draw on Katie's experience, you've already heard a little bit of it in her analyzing her own swing. When you come down here to the bottom right-hand corner of the Telestrator, you're going to notice a button that's a yellow question mark with a box. And if I check that button, all that allows me to do is scroll over any one of the tools on our palette. I can go all the way over to the left-hand side where you see the laser pointer, and what that allows me to do is get a written tutorial on what each one of the buttons do. And very simply put, if I wanted to make it simple, if I want to draw on the screen, much like Katie, if you and I were drawing on a piece of paper, I can literally click on the tool. So I'm going to unload the box here with the question mark, come back to the draw tool, I click on it and let go, then I come over to the screen, and if I wanted to say and talk about her head being still, I just press the finger down on the mouse, hold it, and draw. If I wanted to draw a box and I wanted to talk about where that ball is located, I just hold it down and draw from side to side. So again, very simple to use. I'm not a technology person. I'm a baseball person and a big fan now of Katie Cochran. And now, Katie, here's what we'll do. We'll erase those two markups, and I'm going to go in and show people kind of behind the curtain that when you go to load a video, I can go up, and here's my public videos, my videos that I have saved. We have diagrams. These diagrams can be used to analyze if Katie was talking about cutoffs and relays. We can put a diagram in, and then you can literally draw plays on that video. But for today, because we got one of the greatest hitters in collegiate softball history, we're going to go in and go into the premium content area. And in doing that, I'm going to come out of this right here, and I'm going to go to my main page where you see ASA 2011 World Cup. And if I click on that, it'll load only the videos from there. And so I'm going to go and just pick a random video right off the front. And let's see here. Let me find something that's good for you, Katie. So here's a slap hit, which I don't think you did a lot of slap hitting in your career, but let's go ahead and hear your thoughts on that real quick, Katie. So I'm going to go ahead and load a video, and if you noticed, I went out, and when I loaded that video into a second slot appeared, and we'll come back to that slot in just a moment. There you can see the markup. So Katie, I'm going to go ahead and drag this swing by just pulling the A, and why don't you go ahead and take over and tell me what you see.
All right. I think she's in a good position to hit. You know, she's getting her feet in line. She's going straight to the pitcher. She's not running away from the ball like sometimes you'll see slap hitters do. I think what's important is that she's, like I said, staying on the ball, getting some good bat lag in her position, good footwork, and she's going to put a good swing on the ball for a slap. Typically with slapping, what you see is, you know, slappers are fast, and they're trying to beat the ball into the ground and beat it out so they can get on base and kind of set the table for the game.
So that, you know, that bat leg, Caitlin, is very, very important. I'm showing it here by just stopping the screen. Tell us a little bit about bat leg and why it's important for a slap hitter.
Bat lag, it's really important for any hitter. The thing with slapping is they're trying to get it to the left side, on basically the left side of the defense, so they can beat it out. They have more time and get more steps to the base, more free steps to the base, to where they can beat it out. And right here, what you see with her swing, I mean, she has a pretty good hand position. She's probably a little bit out in front and pulling it just a hair. But, you know, for the most part, she's in a good position to hit for slapping.
So you would probably prefer, using at least my limited knowledge on being a slap hitter, you'd prefer to have her hands maybe stay in the lag position longer and maybe hit that ball back deeper in her stance rather than being out in front. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, just so she can get it to the shortstop or to the third baseman and try and aim for that 5-6 hole that slappers typically tend to aim for.
So this left-hand hitter is trying to let that ball get on her and drive the ball back to the left side of the pitcher's mound, or even all the way to the third base line. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. And still hit it on the ground, though, because sometimes when slappers are trying to hit it to the opposite side, they kind of have an inside-out swing and can pop it up, and therefore their mechanics go. So if she can really make sure that, like she did in that swing, she's staying through the ball really nice, but she's just a little bit out in front.
Okay. So as I showed you folks before, as Caitlin was analyzing that swing, let me erase that line. I didn't draw a very good line there. You notice that, again, that slot B appeared. Let's go out and load another video. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to look for, let's take this one and see what this brings up. So now if you notice, folks at home, I've loaded a video into the B slot, and I can simply toggle back and forth between the A and B video. And let's watch the B video and see what Caitlin has to say about this one. So I'm going to literally grab that playhead and drag it. And this is going to be a more traditional swing, so we'll probably bring up a model attached to this swing. Why don't you take her from here, Caitlin?
All right. You know, she's getting into a good load position. She seems to be recognizing the pitch well. She should be about meeting the pitch. Okay, she has great bat lag right here. She's getting that slight uppercut swing that they always talk about and meeting on plane with the pitch very well.
So that bat leg, Caitlin, is kind of, if I draw that out right there, it's kind of in that position where right. she's still, her front arm is in a good, strong position, but the bat head is trailing. And then as I erase that markup, and let's get her closer to impact.
Right. Okay, so she just got underneath it. She just missed it, really.
But a good, strong, yeah, pretty good, strong front side that she's working up against there. Like the fact that, and Caitlin, not knowing enough about your teaching philosophy, but that she's still driving from her backside through her front leg. We see a lot of differences of opinion about rotational hitting versus linear hitting, and I think that it's either somewhere in between, or probably your experience would benefit. I think it has a lot to do with who the individual hitter is. We've seen a lot of successful people who are rotational people who spend more time on their backside, and then we've seen people who are more linear hitters who hit through the ball much like a golfer does. What's your feeling about that?
I mean, there's so many different terms out there that people use for hitting, and I mean, I was kind of brought up on the old school philosophy of hitting, and I mean, I don't know. I really think I'm staying with the linear philosophy / rotational philosophy of hitting. Like, I think it's a little bit of both depending on how you look at it. You know, with this hitter in particular, you know, she's really getting some good rotation from her backside, but notice in her foot, she's not necessarily squashing the bug. You know, you'll see a lot of coaches mention, you know, squashing the bug, and I think that's the wrong term to use because they aren't driving their foot into the ground. You'll see some swings, actually their back foot come completely off the ground because they're getting so much force into the pitch. And
I think you're exactly right there.
Right. And so, because I feel like, you know, with the philosophy of the whole squashing the bug, you're actually driving your power into the ground versus going at the ball. I think people need to understand that it's wrong. Like, you don't necessarily squash the bug when you hit.
Well, let's do this. Let's see. I'm going to go and pull up a video. I'm hoping I'm going to get this video right. If I could bring up a video of Albert Pujols, who most people, I think even in your sport, compare to people even at the Major League Baseball level. And it's a very interesting comparison when you get someone who has so much little movement. So here's Albert, and here's this young lady. And if I were to just take Albert and pull him to a similar position, and Katie, I'm going to use what you were kind of focusing in on just a moment ago about his backside, that there isn't really anything about squashing the bug, even though he's looked at as being a rotational hitter. And if we get her in the same position, and then what we can do for you folks at home, I can again toggle back and forth, or I can put them in split screen. And so that we know that the hitter on the right that Katie's analyzing is really our model that we want to focus in on. So let's make Albert Pujols a left-hander. And so let's get Albert right to the point where he's about ready to be in that same spot. And then, Katie, I'm going to let you take it again from here. And that ball's a little bit above the belt. Now tell us about what you see.
And you know, his hands are in a great position to hit. You know, it's a little bit tighter and inside the ball compared to the Australian hitter that you see. You know, it looks like she's going to pull it and come just a hair around it. You know, whenever they talk about hitting around the ball, you're literally doing just that. You're hitting the outer half of the ball versus trying to hit the inside half of the ball. And, you know, with Albert Pujols, you can see that his elbow's in just a little bit tighter and hers is, you know, fully extended right there when she should be way inside, getting that nice, good bat lag that you see with Albert Pujols, and then throwing that bat head at the ball, get that on the sweet part of the bat versus looks like she's almost going to hit the handle.
Katie, let me ask you a couple of questions. I'm also I'm kind of focusing in on Albert's head position versus her head position, which it seems to me I'm drawing a relationship between you talking about that elbow and Albert staying inside the ball and kind of up, and he's coming inside, and she may be getting ready to hook the ball a little bit. I'm also looking at her head position. Talk a little about head position.
Head position, I mean, it's very key. Obviously, I mean, it's pretty basic. You have to keep your eyes on the ball. You have to keep your head down when you swing too. And that's what you see with Albert. You know, he's keeping his eyes on the ball and he's keeping his head down. The hitters who, you know, look as soon as they hit the ball, they raise their head, you know, they're changing their eyes. And you really have to keep your eyes honed in on the ball. Otherwise, you know, if you're changing the plane at which you're seeing the ball's going to look like it's moving, and therefore you will miss hit it.
Now, for you folks at home, as we get a little bit closer to wrapping up, and we're just absolutely, again, can't thank you enough, Katie, for being on with us. We hope this is one of many. If you look just below on our hitter on the right, you're going to see a little box with some numbers underneath the box, and I'm sliding over those numbers very slowly. What we've been able to do is create keyframes for you coaches to use with your players. We're not professing a particular hitting system. We're just giving you the tools to work with a great hitting coach like Katie Cochran, like you're hearing from today. And basically what we have shown is this young lady here, at her stance is at frame 63, and you can follow it. It goes all the way through. And that way, if I wanted to take them out of split screen and I wanted to focus her, for example, where she is at weight shift, or where she is when she's planting and when she's loading, or if I wanted to bring her all the way to where she is at contact. What it gives you is a tool that, instead of Katie Cochran having to take your daughter's video and try to match it up by dragging the playhead back and forth, you can literally just code those videos and then have to be able to snap them together very, very quickly. And again, those are very easy to use. Doesn't take very long, probably about 30 seconds to code a video, but makes a lot of difference if you really wanted to be focusing in on one particular aspect of that swing. And all the while, I can still go back and split screen them and be working side by side with, albeit that he's struggling, with one of the best hitters in the big leagues. Katie, before we go back to our outline, where we're going to talk a little bit about some upgrades and next steps, I did want to talk to you a little bit more. Anything, any one thing that you really stay focused on as now being both a player but also someone who probably is going to do some coaching? Any one particular thing that you want to send to the coaches on the other end of the broadcast, one thing that you focus in on in coaching young hitters?
Make sure you completely understand the mechanics of the swing, and if you do have a question, use PowerChalk, use the video analysis and see what the successful hitters are doing, and then when you look at another video, try and find the differences between the swings, because what you'll see any successful hitter do, there may be some different styles of hitting, but the thing that's consistent from great hitter to great hitter is the point of contact. And really understanding the points of contact and emphasizing that tee work, because that's truly where it starts, is on the tee, and just mastering those skills off the tee, and then bringing it to front toss or live pitching. I think that's how you build a hitter up. It's sometimes, you don't need all these different things or just trying to hit 1,000 cuts. It's really, truly understanding the mechanics of a swing and understanding how to practice and just how to master those skills. I love tee work. I practiced it religiously in college, and I really think that helped take me to the next level. Whenever I was struggling as a hitter, that's the first thing that I would go back to was the tee, because that's home. That's what I would emphasize as a coach. Tee work, tee work, tee work.
And the ability for you to use the tee, I think, for you young coaches out there, it's very, very important to be able to know that a young hitter can groove a good swing or a bad swing. And when you're working on the tee, what you've done is taken the pressure out of regular VP or even game time hitting, where they're so reactive and oftentimes taking their head to the ball because they're trying to anticipate. Whereas a tee, no pressure, and you can really, really groove a good swing. Katie, I want to go back to our outline for just a minute. I want to talk about our system for a moment, because what you've seen here today, again, is the ability for you to do 3 ways in which you can use PowerChalk. Katie Cochran could be your coach, and you guys could be in the locker room, and you could be sitting shoulder to shoulder, and she could be drawing lines, arcs, and circles and talking to you about a particular swing. You could have sent Katie a video of your daughter, or it could be one of her players, and Katie could be in Los Angeles and your daughter could be in Indianapolis, and she could mark up a video, save it, and send it back. Or you can do what we did today, which is live screen sharing, where you can literally be doing a live lesson over the internet. Now, We talked about the fact the easiest thing for you to do is go out and register for a free account at www.powerchalk.com/ASA, and that's all caps. If you choose that you want to, upgrade your version, and again, Katie, as you well know, success always has a price. I know that Katie Cochran didn't get good by just showing up every day. She had to work at it. So this analysis system that we have here, if you want to have split screen, if you want to have more storage, if you want to have the ability to do the live screen sharing and 8-minute record time, any of those things, what we have contracted as a relationship with the ASA is that if you go into the promo code area and put ASA Pro 50, you'd get 50% off of any of the upgrades that you're available to. So it's a really a nice deal for a system that is built for you and built for the ability for you to work with your players. And maybe as a next step, if you have any questions, again, that's our contact information. Please feel free to call us. We are going to kind of open up the lines, our chat session today, for you to be able to ask questions. I'm going to stay on the line after we say goodbye to Katie and answer any technical questions about the system. And Katie, any parting words of wisdom before we say goodbye today?
Just, keep working at it. Understand, as a coach with a player, be patient with them and understand that it's a process and it's an evolution of hitting. The more she works at it, the faster you'll see results. But just always remember to stay positive. Yeah.
Well, one final housekeeping issue before we say goodbye to Katie. Just for today, if you're interested, you can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/PowerChalk Sports. And if you go ahead and like what you see, and for you Facebook users, you know what that means. We're going to add an additional 10 slots to your video locker absolutely free. And with that, again, we've said we're going to try to keep these to 30 minutes. We want to appreciate and thank you for your attendance today. And I want to say a special thank you to Katie Cochran. Katie, we have so much enjoyed having you on the broadcast today. We hope it was fun for you, and hope we can have you back sometime soon.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
That's Katie Cochran, everybody, and so that's going to do it for us today. Again, we're going to go ahead and open it up that if there are any questions that you'd like to ask about the system or anything at all, we're going to go ahead and stay online here on the audio side, and you can type your questions in, and we'll try to do our very, very best at answering those questions for you. And again, we want to thank all of you for being part of the program today.